Voyage at Holiday World is a Gravity Group custom wooden coaster that opened in 2006 in Santa Claus, Indiana. The ride is located in the Thanksgiving section towards the back of the park and absolutely towers over the midway leading up to and around the attraction. This was only the second coaster the Gravity Group ever built as a company, only after Hades at Mount Olympus, and still one of their absolute best. It is often regarded as one of the best wooden coasters in the whole world, and it is easy to see why. It's currently the second longest wooden coaster in the whole world, only after the Beast at Kings Island, and also one of the fastest and tallest among Woodies too. This ride is also all about amazing stats, but the layout itself has no dull moments either, and really uses the terrain to its advantage. It doesn't feature much theming in the queue line, with only some light maritime theming pieces like a ship's wheel in the station, but it's really intimidating from an off-ride perspective. The ride just features your standard PTC trains with lap bars and a seatbelt, as is easily the biggest ride to feature those very minimalistic trains. There was a plan to actually put lighter Timberliner trains on at one point, similar to those at Kentucky Flyer at Kentucky Kingdom, but the trains just didn't work with this layout, so they reverted back to PTC trains with only 6 cars instead of the original 7. I can only imagine how insane that back car was, because it's already absolutely ridiculous with the 6 it has now. The stats are very impressive with a height of 159 feet, speed of 67 miles per hour, and a track length of 6,442 feet. Now that we got stats out of the way, let's see how it rides. The ride begins with a really steep 154-foot drop with some amazing floater airtime right into 2 massive floater airtime hills. These really give well-sustained floater airtime and dive right under the park's B&M wing coaster, Thunderbird. You then dive into one of the ride's many tunnels and emerge into a great ejector moment before diving into another tunnel into another floater airtime hill. There isn't as much airtime on this one, but then you dive into yet another tunnel and into the ride's insane spaghetti bowl section. You dart left and then quickly to the right again with some great off-axis airtime on both hills before turning left again and getting some more great ejector pops and entering your first 90-degree bank turn. This feels different than anything I've experienced on a Woody and really slams you to the left with laterals and airtime. You enter another 90-degree bank, this time slamming you to the right, and you get a couple more ejector pops and a tunnel before popping into the mid-course brake run. You get trimmed very slightly before diving into the amazing tunnel-enclosed triple down that just sends you into orbit on that final down. You emerge with just as much speed as ever, with some great low-to-the-ground ejector moments and another great off-axis hill as you dive under Thunderbird again. You weave through the ride's massive steel structure with another ejector moment to the right before being sharply banked to the left again and weaving through the structure once more. There's another amazing 90-degree bank slamming to the right as you pass under the ride's lift hill. You make another left turn back towards the lift hill, but this time pop over it with another amazing off-axis ejector hill. You dive under the ride's main station with a lot of speed before popping into another great off-axis hill and sharply bank to the left through another small tunnel. Finally pop up into another great intensity and lateral filled right turn into the final brake run. This ride just never ends, and that is easily its greatest strength. The craziest thing with all that track length is what it's able to do with it and not have a single dull moment throughout the entire over 90-second ride time. The only moment I would even consider even slightly dull is the mid-course, but you honestly don't feel it slow down a ton on a normal day. The only reason it's there is so the ride doesn't rip itself apart any more than it already does. But they turned it off for the enthusiast event of Hollywood Nights every year. I honestly can't even fathom that return run going any faster than it already does, but during that event you can experience that in the pitch black darkness at night too, and I definitely want to experience it someday. Even with the slight trim, this ride absolutely hauls through its layout on a normal day, and you can usually lap it a ton of times when visiting, as it usually doesn't get that long of a line. The longest I waited on a Sunday in July was 30 minutes, which is nothing compared to a lot of parks at that time of year. Holiday World does a great job of retracking this ride as much as possible every year, and I would honestly say it's the smoothest of the 3 Woodies there, and far and away the best. It's still not glass smooth, however, but I still gladly got a handful of rides during my visit. My overall rankings, it's my favorite wooden coaster of the ones I've done, and number 4 overall out of the 110 I've ridden, only behind Velocicoaster, Storm Chaser, and Time Traveler, which are just a little more re-rideable than the Voyage in my opinion. But this still comes awfully close to those three. If it isn't obvious already, I absolutely love this ride and can easily see why a lot of people have it as their favorite ever roller coaster. If you haven't already, I strongly recommend a visit to Holiday World just for this ride, but also for the other great thrill coasters there too. Be sure to subscribe for more content and be on the lookout for more coaster reviews and other theme park videos in the near future.